At an elevation of more than 12,000 feet, looms the ancient fortress of Sacsayhuamán, whose immense stone walls may hold secrets which predate the Inca themselves.
This can't be done with copper chisels, not like this. The cuts are too sharp, the angles too exact. Even today, machines would struggle. Some experts say the method feels almost not human. Years before radar scans and research teams, a teenage boy slipped into a narrow tunnel beneath these stones. He carried a torch. He believed the passage would lead somewhere important. He never came back. Weeks later, searchers broke through sealed rock and found scorched walls, broken stone, and silence. Nobody. No trail, nothing to explain where he went. What lies under these walls doesn't behave like ruins. It hides. It stretches deeper than expected. And once discovered, it seems to erase those who get too close. This story isn't built on rumor. It begins where the ground was finally scanned and where the results shocked everyone involved. Stay with us, because what was found beneath Sacsayhuamán changes everything. Stones that break every rule. Sacsayhuamán stands above the city of Cusco like a silent warning frozen in stone.
Among peaks towering over 20,000 feet, the Inca established their capital city of Cusco, which thrived for over 300 years.
From a distance, it looks massive, unshakable, a fortress built to last forever. But when you step closer, the scale of what was created hits you. Each stone seems to have a story of its own, shaped not by brute force, but by an almost unimaginable patience. Some of these blocks weigh over 100 tons.
The walls are put together with blocks of stone weighing 50 or 100 tons, cut and shaped like the pieces of a jigsaw puzzle.
A few reach nearly 200 tons. And yet, when they were fitted together, the builders left no space, not even enough to slide a single blade of paper between them. It's a tightness that feels impossible, as if every stone was meant to lock its neighbor in place forever. The unusual part isn't just the size of the stones, it's the way they connect. Look closely, and you'll notice there are no straight lines, no simple squares or rectangles that a typical mason would use. Each rock seems to bend and twist to fit perfectly with the next, forming interlocking patterns that seem to defy geometry. The lines zigzag, the angles twist, and the shapes almost flow into each other. It's as if someone knew the earthquakes were coming centuries before they hit. When Spanish colonial buildings around the area crumbled under tremors, these walls barely moved. The structure stayed intact, silent and strong, almost as if it had been designed to survive the impossible. The Incas were unquestionably skilled builders. They were masters of stonework across their empire.
That the Inca would build a wall. They would shape the stone and put the stones together, and then they would put adobe mud in between as a mortar.
But even their other constructions do not look like this. Sacsayhuamán's craftsmanship follows a set of rules entirely of its own. Tool marks on the stones are unusual. The cuts are deep, precise, and smooth, unlike anything left by copper chisels or simple stone hammers. A stone of this size and weight should have rough edges, yet here the lines are sharp, deliberate, controlled, as if the builders knew techniques lost to time. The sheer accuracy makes engineers scratch their heads, wondering how human hands could have done this without modern machinery. Even more puzzling is what engineers and archaeologists noticed about the placement of some stones. Certain blocks appear to have been shaped and prepared before being lifted into place, while others seem carved or adjusted after they were already standing. This suggests a level of planning that goes far beyond normal construction. It was not just about stacking stones, it was about designing a structure that would endure, evolve, and hold secrets in its very foundation. Every decision, every adjustment points to foresight and long-term precision, a vision that spans years, maybe decades. Standing there among these colossal stones, one cannot help but notice the quiet questions that no guide seems willing to answer. If the stones were created using known Inca methods, where are the mistakes? Where are the cracks, the misaligned blocks, the human errors that should naturally occur when handling such massive pieces? The perfection is unsettling, It raises doubts about what we think we know, about the builders. Were they truly the Incas, or were they standing on the shoulders of something older, something already beyond explanation? Every stone seems to whisper, "There is more here than you see." Walking along the walls, touching the cold, smooth surfaces, the mystery deepens. You realize that Sacsayhuamán is more than just a fortress.
That we're looking at a two-phase construction site in many of the so-called Inca stone monuments.
It is a puzzle, a challenge, a monument that refuses to fit into the simple narrative of history. Each interlocking stone, each impossible angle, is a reminder that someone long before anyone recorded the past, planned and executed a structure that still leaves the modern world struggling to understand it. This is not just a site of ancient architecture. It is a testament to knowledge, skill, and secrets that may never fully be revealed. What radar found beneath the fortress. For centuries, people believed the mystery of Sacsayhuamán ended at the walls. Visitors marveled at the massive stones, the zigzag patterns, and the sheer height of the fortress. But below those walls, the earth kept a secret that no one could see until technology finally gave a glimpse. In the early 2000s, a team of researchers brought ground-penetrating radar to the site. This wasn't ordinary equipment. It could read what the eye cannot see, detect hollow spaces hidden under tons of solid rock, and map what had been buried for centuries. The initial scans were cautious. They expected to see nothing but solid earth. That assumption didn't last long. Instead of uniform stone and bedrock, the radar revealed gaps. Not small cracks or empty pockets, but long, wide spaces running deep beneath the fortress.
And it's true. It's some tunnels there. But let's walk out. To the upper part, we got some figures, some altars.
Some followed straight lines, cutting sharply through the ground. Others spread outward, almost as if someone had carefully carved them with intent. The shapes were too precise, too regular to have been made by natural erosion or geological shifts. Whoever or whatever made them had a plan. The more the scans continued, the stranger it became. Hollow spaces stretched beneath platforms that tourists never think about, and corridors appeared where no entrance existed above. Some of these spaces angled downward at sharp inclines. Others stretched flat for long distances, forming a network that suggested a hidden purpose. Nature does not arrange rocks like this. These spaces were deliberately made. One section under a circular stone foundation shocked the researchers even more. The radar picked up what looked like corridors cut directly into solid bedrock. These weren't caves formed by erosion. They weren't accidental fissures. They were measured, precise paths with walls of uniform width and straight lines that continued for meters without interruption. The level of planning required to create such paths beneath a mountain was staggering. Reports from the research teams hinted at another unsettling detail. Some of these underground corridors appeared to align with other important locations inside Cusco. Certain paths seemed to connect distant ceremonial sites, temples, or sacred points that had been worshipped for centuries.
Remnants of the Inca Empire have been found. Some stone walls still stand. This is Santo Domingo Convent. There used to be a temple dedicated to the sun.
If this alignment was intentional, it suggested a construction plan that spanned kilometers of solid rock, connecting the fortress to a wider network no one had ever imagined. Officials, when asked about the findings, avoided using the word tunnels. Instead, they referred to them as anomalies, a softer term that hid the scale of what had been discovered. But the data spoke for itself. The fortress was far more than a collection of massive stones piled high. Beneath it lay a labyrinth of chambers, corridors, and hidden voids, some still unexplored. Once these underground structures were detected, a cascade of questions followed. Who built them? When were they made? And for what purpose? Some researchers wondered if these spaces were part of a forgotten civilization older than the Incas themselves. Others speculated that the Inca builders might have found these corridors and simply incorporated them into the fortress above.
Inca structures sit on top of much more ancient rock-cut structures and megalithic structures that we just don't know who built them.
No one had walked these paths yet. Explorers and archaeologists knew the dangers of collapse, of unstable earth, and of sealed passages left untouched for centuries. The secrecy and difficulty of access only added to the mystery. Every scan that revealed a new corridor or void seemed to deepen the questions instead of answering them. The fortress above remained unchanged, calm and serene. Tourists walked its paths, snapped photographs, and admired its engineering. Yet below their feet, hidden in darkness, the earth had been altered with a precision that defied explanation. What the radar revealed wasn't just space, it was evidence of planning, intention, and knowledge that modern science struggles to explain. And as soon as that hidden door of possibility was cracked open, the questions became impossible to ignore. The fortress wasn't just a wonder of stone above ground, it was the gateway to a secret buried for centuries, waiting for someone bold enough to uncover it. The tunnel, no one is allowed to enter. A short walk from the main walls of Sacsayhuamán lies a spot most locals avoid after sunset. From the surface, it looks unremarkable. Just scattered stones, uneven ground, and the faint impression of a path long unused. Nothing here signals danger or mystery, yet for centuries, whispers have traveled quietly among historians, explorers, and the local people. This place hides something no one was meant to find. Spanish writers in the 1500s mentioned a long underground passage beginning near this exact area. According to their accounts, the tunnel ran beneath the hills.
There is entrance some of the big chincanas, or big tunnels.
Connecting sacred locations across Cusco, including temples and ceremonial platforms. At the time, these claims were dismissed as exaggeration or romantic storytelling. Ancient chroniclers often intertwined fact and legend, leaving modern historians skeptical. But decades of observations and subtle evidence suggest the chroniclers might have been closer to the truth than anyone realized. Reports of the tunnel didn't disappear entirely. In the 1800s and early 1900s, workers excavating near Sacsayhuamán occasionally stumbled upon strange cavities in the bedrock. Some described hitting empty spaces beneath what should have been solid stone, feeling drafts of air moving unpredictably, and hearing echoes that seemed impossible in such confined spaces. Those who noticed unusual formations often left quickly, either out of fear or by strict instructions from local authorities who considered the area sacred. During the early 1900s, explorers managed to locate a narrow entrance large enough for a single person to enter. It was hidden in shadows and overgrown with weeds, almost invisible unless one knew exactly where to look. Those who entered described a steep descent, cleanly cut steps, and walls carved with marks that were deliberate and controlled, as if designed for a purpose. Some explorers reported a strange warmth in the air as they moved downward, a steady current that seemed alive, almost like the tunnel was breathing. Others mentioned a silence so complete it was almost physical, pressing in on them with every step. But the discovery was short-lived. Within days, the entrance was blocked. No explanation was given. Local archives remain vague, noting only safety concerns or structural instability. Few photographs, sketches, or detailed reports survived. It was as if the passage had vanished again, hidden from sight and memory. Decades later, in the late 20th century, a small team of researchers tried to reopen the tunnel. Archival notes suggest they found carved steps, perfectly aligned walls, and tool marks consistent with intentional cutting. The walls appeared polished in some areas and rough in others, suggesting continuous work over long periods. Yet just days into the project, it was abruptly halted. Officials claimed safety hazards, but rumors circulated that the team had discovered symbols and inscriptions unlike anything previously recorded. Writing in an unknown language, etched into stone far below the surface. No images were ever released. No follow-up excavation was permitted. Since then, the area has remained sealed, guarded not only by stone, but by law and local custom. Authorities cite safety concerns, potential collapse, and preservation as reasons to keep people away. Locals, however, whisper stories of missing explorers, faint lights, and low sounds emanating from beneath the earth. Even today, those who live nearby say the air changes near the entrance, colder in some seasons, warmer in others, almost as if the tunnel has a pulse of its own. Whatever lies inside, it is not meant to be seen. Every blockage, every restriction, every hushed warning serves a purpose. The tunnel remains a silent guardian of secrets older than anyone alive. Each stone, each carved step, each hidden corridor is a reminder that some mysteries are intentionally buried, preserved in darkness, waiting for a time when the world might be ready, or perhaps will never be ready to uncover them. A structure older than the Incas. Beneath the towering walls and perfectly fitted stones of Sacsayhuamán lies a secret that challenges everything historians thought they knew. On the surface, the fortress looks like the work of the Incas, with careful stonework, zigzag patterns, and massive blocks arranged with astonishing precision. But as scientists and archaeologists began to examine the lower levels, they found something unexpected. A structure that seems far older than the Inca civilization itself. The deeper layers of stonework are different. The blocks are larger, rougher, and heavier than those above. While the visible walls are polished, perfectly aligned, and carefully finished, the lower stones appear raw and ancient, almost as if they were carved by a civilization with knowledge lost to history. Some blocks are set directly into the living rock of the hill, not stacked but shaped to fit into the mountain itself. This is not a simple foundation, it is a base built to last for millennia, one that seems to have survived natural disasters long before the Incas even arrived. Geologists who studied these lower layers noted something extraordinary. The tool marks on these stones do not match any Inca method. Copper chisels, stone hammers, or even the advanced techniques used by later Andean cultures should have left uneven edges, mistakes, or wear marks. Instead, the grooves are precise, deep, and consistent patterns that suggest advanced engineering. Some stones even seem carved in place after being set, an incredibly difficult task that would require exact measurements and remarkable skill. One of the most puzzling findings is the way these stones relate to the surrounding terrain. In several areas, the builders appear to have reshaped the hill itself, flattening or cutting into the mountain to fit massive blocks. This is not construction as we know it. This is construction as if the mountain itself were clay, molded to hold each stone perfectly. Modern engineers studying the site admit that even with cranes, pulleys, and machinery, replicating such work would be a monumental challenge today. These discoveries led some scholars to suggest a startling theory. The Incas did not build Sacsayhuamán from scratch. Instead, they inherited a site that was already ancient, already monumental. They repaired sections, added polished walls on top, and shaped what we now see as their signature zigzag design. For centuries, this was dismissed as myth. Modern geological analysis, however, shows that there may have been truth behind those stories all along. Further evidence comes from the alignment and placement of the stones. Some blocks are so massive that moving them without precise knowledge of leverage and balance would be nearly impossible. Others seem positioned according to patterns that consider both earthquakes and the natural flow of water beneath the fortress.
The earthquakes, because these buildings were made anti-seismic.
Okay.
We're talking about it. This is the result because of the water of the rains.
These lower layers do not simply support the walls above. They form a system designed to endure centuries of environmental stress, suggesting a level of planning that predates the Inca Empire by hundreds, perhaps thousands of years. Even stranger, the lower stones break the typical rules of Inca masonry. In every other Inca site, builders refined their techniques over generations, gradually improving precision. Here, the oldest stones are the largest and most meticulously cut, while the stones above, supposedly newer, appear smaller and polished but less massive. It is as if the ancient builders possessed knowledge lost to time, knowledge the Incas recognized and respected but could not fully replicate. The implications are staggering. If the core of Sacsayhuamán predates the Incas, it forces a reconsideration of who came before them in the Andes. Who had the skill, the technology, and the vision to carve and fit stones of such enormous size with such precision? How did they understand engineering principles so advanced that later civilizations could only imitate them? And most importantly, what purpose did this ancient core serve that made it so essential to preserve, even as empires rose and fell around it? Standing today amid the walls of Sacsayhuamán, it is impossible to ignore the sense of history pressing down from below. Every massive stone, every hidden layer, whispers of a civilization older, wiser, and far more capable than anyone could have imagined. The fortress is more than a monument. It is a bridge to a past that refuses to stay buried. A structure older than the Incas themselves, waiting silently for the world to understand its secrets. Why the ground still feels alive. Walking through Sacsayhuamán, it is impossible not to notice how different the fortress feels compared to the rest of Cusco. The walls rise sharply, zigzagging against the sky, casting long shadows over the valley below. But the true strangeness isn't in what can be seen, it's in what can be felt. Locals have long whispered about it. Some say the ground hums, others claim it seems to breathe, especially near certain stones and passages. Visitors often report odd experiences, a subtle vibration underfoot, a shifting of air, or a sound that bends strangely across the walls. Researchers first took these claims seriously in 2005. A team from the University of San Marcos set up equipment to measure acoustic resonance across the fortress. What they found was unusual. Sounds between 200 and 500 Hz frequencies, far lower than normal speech, echoed strongly between the walls. A simple clap or stomp did not fade naturally. Instead, it bounced, amplified, and lingered in ways that defied the surrounding terrain. The fortress itself seemed to channel sound. Every zigzag, every angled wall appeared intentionally designed to move vibrations across the site. But acoustic anomalies were just the beginning. During certain seasons, locals claim they can hear rhythmic pulses emerging from beneath the largest stones. These are not earthquakes, wind, or the movement of animals. They are slow, deliberate pulses, like a heartbeat. In 2018, a National Geographic-supported team placed sensitive vibration sensors near the Cocha area, one of the fortress's most mysterious sectors. The sensors recorded low-frequency movements, fluctuating in steady waves. Officially, the findings were attributed to wind interacting with natural stone pores. Yet some scientists privately admitted the data hinted at something deeper, possibly linked to the voids, tunnels, and chambers discovered below ground. Even the way shadows and sunlight move across the stones seems connected to what lies beneath. During solstices, sunlight aligns perfectly with certain stones, casting shadows across hidden depressions in ways that almost appear intentional. Observers report that these solar alignments sometimes coincide with the low-frequency vibrations detected underground. The connection between above and below, between light, stone, and vibration, is unsettling. It suggests the builders understood forces that modern science struggles to explain. Animals, too, seem aware. Dogs, birds, and small mammals often avoid the area, moving cautiously around the largest stones and open courtyards. Some locals have noted that even water behaves strangely when poured near certain foundations. While these observations could be dismissed individually, together they hint at a living environment, a site engineered not just to endure, but to interact with the world around it. Standing still near the zigzag walls, the effect becomes almost tangible. The fortress feels as though it is observing, measuring, and responding. The ground beneath is not passive. It carries memory, vibrations, and secrets from generations long gone. Each pulse, each hum, each reflection of sound across stone seems to whisper that Sacsayhuamán is more than a fortress. It is a monument designed to survive time, preserve knowledge, and hide truths beneath its enormous blocks. No one knows the full extent of what lies beneath these stones. But for those who have spent hours wandering the fortress, listening, feeling, and observing, one thing becomes clear: Sacsayhuamán is not inert. It lives quietly beneath the feet of those who dare to walk its terraces. It remembers, it resonates, and it waits. Sacsayhuamán is shown to the world as a monument of stone, a place to photograph, admire, and leave behind. But what rests beneath it refuses to stay silent. Hidden tunnels, sealed entrances, stones that don't follow known rules, layers of construction that point to a time before recorded history. Every new scan raises questions no one seems eager to answer. Why are excavations limited? Why are certain areas permanently closed? And why does modern equipment keep finding empty spaces where solid rock should be? Maybe the answers challenge what we teach about ancient builders. Maybe they point to knowledge we no longer understand. Or maybe someone decided long ago that what lies below is better left untouched. History isn't always written on the surface. Sometimes it's buried, sealed and guarded by stone so heavy it dares us to look away. But the ground remembers, and one day, what sleeps beneath the walls of Sacsayhuamán may force the world to listen.